North Korea's rhetoric just keeps getting stronger. Pyongyang now says the Korean peninsula is heading for thermo-nuclear war and says foreigners should consider leaving South Korea for their own safety. The North blames the crisis on what it calls the warmongering US and its South Korean puppets. Among its propaganda efforts, this video showing that the South Korean defense minister is a prime target.
He is defaming our supreme dignity and making stupid remarks. How can we put up with that? He's the first target to be removed and beaten to death as soon as possible.
The Korean peninsula has been locked in a cycle of escalating tension since the North's third nuclear test in February. The UN chief says a small incident could create an uncontrollable situation. Tokyo has responded to the threat by deploying Patriot missiles in its capital as a preemptive defense measure. But South Koreans, long used to bellicose rhetoric from over the border, seem generally stoical about the situation. And these tourists and foreigners visiting the demilitarized zone, the border between the two Koreas, aren't about to run scared either.
A few months ago I would be scared, but since I have studied 2 months yet in South Korea, and I know a lot of South Koreans, they don't really seem to be scared.
The US, meanwhile, continues its annual exercises with the South, which might provide North Korea with a way of saving face.
When the exercise wraps up and the Americans who participated from outside of the area return, then North Korean media can publish reports describing how the Americans turned away. They ran away so scared because our military is so powerful.
South Korean intelligence believes the North will carry out a missile test launch as a show of strength, even if it won't quite match the nuclear strike rhetoric. The launch may be timed to coincide with celebrations on April 15th for the birthday of founder, leader Kim Il-sung.
Joining me now is House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Rogers. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jake, it's great to be here, and congratulations on the new show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So North Korea today warned foreigners in South Korea to take shelter or consider evacuating. They say, quote, they do not want to see foreigners in South Korea fall victim to the war. Do you expect that we are going to see some type of military action on the peninsula?
Well, clearly, a lot of this is for domestic consumption for Un. So he's 28 years old. He's a very young leader, very untested. When he first started, he had some political folks around him that could have mediated some of this. It's been replaced, his inner circle, with real hardliners. So what I think you see happening, Jake, is he is making a fuss for his own solidification of his military environment. And Korea is one of those countries that is an army with a country, and he is trying to solidify his power base. Now, that being said, as aggressive as he has been, it's a little bit out of the box of where his father was. His father used to do this, but you could tell when he was getting ready to back down. We just don't know that point yet, and our concern is he may even be looking for some small, and I want to emphasize small, skirmish to embolden his credentials with the military.
What type of small skirmish are you talking about? Obviously, in 2010, the North Koreans attacked a South Korean ship, killing 46 South Korean sailors. They shelled an island, killing 4 South Koreans. Do you think it will be something that will include loss of life?
Well, it could. I mean, anytime there's that military exchange, there's certainly that possibility. And I believe those were clearly attempts, to rattle the saber. And what, unfortunately, there was no response to either one of those events. So in their mind, you have to think about what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, we can continue and up to these small types of skirmishes to prove our point before we have to back down. The trouble is, his rhetoric is well overheated than normal, and that's what concerns me, certainly.
President Obama has been taking a page out of Teddy Roosevelt's book, speaking softly, carrying a big stick. Do you think the White House is striking the right tone, or should the U.S. be more aggressive and assertive when it comes to the threats from North Korea?
I think they've done a good job on the Korean response. So the initial move of interceptors, things that could shoot down missiles out west, I mean, it was about a year or two late, but I'm glad they did it. The fact that they were showing that we have military capabilities that we could have to engage in a conflict like this, and we're using it. I thought that was absolutely appropriate. And then the next step here is we have got to engage China. If China wants, they can stop all of that fuel in the black market fuel purchases going across the Chinese and North Korean border. Haven't really stepped up to do that. So we can show that we have the strength and resolve that we will not tolerate threats of nuclear exchange or military attack to the United States. Thought that was handled well. Let's step up our diplomatic efforts with China and others to pressure them to stop those transactions on the northern border, and that will hurt North Korea more than anything. You'd be surprised.
I want to